welcome to a cheeky bonus episode of Work the Left Side. Obviously, I was joined by Sammy on Wednesday. Tonight, I have sweet talks with promises of cuddles and goodies, Mr. AEW himself, Ash, to come and join me as we talk about Mr. Copeland in AEW. Dude, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Greetings, humans. I'm doing fine. Excited. We were just discussing off camera about some bits off this week's Dynamite, which I thought was absolutely spot on. Lots to talk about, but I suppose the main talking point would be the end segment. Which way around do you want to do it? Just like lead up to it, or just get straight into it?
Well, we'll talk about obviously, Wrestle Dream, his debut. Obviously there's lots of talk, lots of speculation about him coming to AEW, his contract being up literally the day before. I know you was telling me you're more up to date with like the rumors and the news than I am. I tend to bury my head in the sand when it comes to like wrestling news or dirt sheets. I just watch the product. So you're my go-to guy for the rumors and stuff. And you told me about Edge potentially turning up at some point. And he did. He turned up at the end of Wrestle Dream. We got the little, very kind of fitting, really, to say that he was coming in to save Darby and Sting. But the pre-entrance video in the car was very reminiscent of Sting and Darby before the Street Fight a couple of years ago, kind of thing.
Yeah, it was really good. I like that. It was the perfect introduction to him, really, and it was like. I kind of knew it was going to happen because of, rumors and stuff, but there was like little things like the AEW Wrestle Dream ticket pre-code was like, it had like 3D GE R8TR or whatever, like Edge rated R, or it was just like the most obvious waving. This guy's gonna show up, I mean, it's quite subtle because unless you're gonna buy a ticket, you wouldn't have known. But that little nugget was brought to my attention. I was just like, interesting.
Nice.
But so it was just really well done. To be honest with you, like it felt huge. It genuinely felt huge. Which is only going to benefit, like, obviously AEW, but like the wrestling business in general. And it's very exciting, to be honest with you. So, yeah,
definitely. And he's still got the music as well. So, I love the fact. The same as obviously with CM Punk.
Yeah.
Alter Bridge. It's an Alter Bridge song. They own the rights to it. They can use it however they want. And obviously Tony Khan's Splash to Cash, Midnight Look. Yeah. We're using it. It's Edge's music. And man, I popped huge. Anybody who knows me or has ever seen me talk about Edge and Christian before, I've always rated Christian as the better wrestler, but Edge is the better sports entertainer. I think we saw it this week on Dynamite with his interview. Dynamite just leveled up for me when he got the mic and started talking. It's not to besmirch anybody else. I'm not saying, obviously, there's plenty of people who are great on the mic in AEW, but I don't know if it's just because it felt genuine. It was the sincerity of what he was saying. Obviously, that helps. When somebody cuts a shoot promo, it just feels genuine and it kind of pulls at the heart.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact he was calling Christian Uncle Jay, which was, I don't know, I wasn't completely happy about that, but it's fine. It was getting the story across. Obviously, there's 40 years of friendship there, a lot of history in the business. It was fine, but it felt very very heartfelt, and it hit hard. Like when it finally when he made his debut, made the big save. They had the little stare off and stuff, didn't they? And then took the chair off him. Did you watch Wrestle Dream in its entirety, or just that bit? It was fucking great show. It was. I thought that was really, really well done. Because everyone was kind of like, "Are they? What's going on here?" kind of thing. And then he starts laying the smackdown and the big stare off and stuff. But that led into this week, and again, had people all kind of on the edge of the seat kind of thing, because with the whole going in for the cuddle thing and stuff, I thought it was really good. Yeah, so it looks like Copeland versus Christian Cage. It's happening. Like, it's wow.
Well, obviously, Full Gear is next month. Obviously, he's got Luchasaurus next week.
Yeah.
No doubt he'll Nick Wayne at some point, and then you'll get Christian at the pay-per-view. Whether they'll again, this is what this episode is going to be about. Obviously, we're talking about his debut. We're talking about Dynamite. Last night. I was still genuine, like when Christian told him to go fuck himself. I was like,
go fuck yourself.
wow.
I didn't actually get to see the full. Segment on my fight stream. Fell off after just before that bit. It must have gone over time because it was like the whole episode was like 2 hours and 5 minutes. But yeah, it cut out, and I was like, what's just happened here? So I went on YouTube, and the whole end segment was there. So they went over time quite significantly, I would imagine. But yeah, so yeah, it hit hard. It was a gobsmacking moment that they must have allowed the F-bomb because it was off air at the time.
Yeah,
which makes more sense.
I watched it last night on Fight, so it's back on Fight now.
Oh,
Full episode is on Fight now. So if you haven't watched it, you've got AEW Plus. Obviously go watch it. But yeah, obviously, during that promo, he was teasing potential matches. Never before matches. And yeah, thinking about it. It struck me at the time. I was like, those two guys never met. But obviously, he mentioned John Moxley. I was like, obviously, Edge was out injured during the whole Shield thing, and Moxley was probably gone around about the time that Edge came back. So yeah, those two guys have never banged heads. But yeah, you got. I'm just going to call him Edge for the sake of it, just for the layman's, for the fans. Just Edge versus Jay White.
Yes.
Edge versus MJF.
Yes.
It's all yeses.
Kenny Omega. Bro, Bryan Danielson.
Yes.
Wow. Seriously.
That's it. But that's the thing. Again, AEW put us in a position where, as fans, we can just fantasy book the shit out of it. And we've got that. Maybe after Full Gear, Edge beats Christian. Christian sees the error of his ways, and they have one last run together as a tag team.
I do see that happening at some point, but I'm not so sure when. But yeah, it's bound to happen eventually.
So probably in about a year's time, let him have his singles matches first, and then have the last year. If AEW have got him for 2 years, I don't know what the contract length is or anything like that, but I'm thinking, best case scenario, given his age, previous injuries, if he's got 2 good years left in him, first year, single runs, Moxley, Danielson, Omega, guys like that. And then the second half, and, E&C, reunion, looking for photos, 5 seconds of...
That'll be amazing.
Photography.
Weekend of awesomeness.
There we go. But yeah, Edge and Christian versus FTR.
Yes, please. You have to believe that FTR are one of the big reasons of him wanting to go to AEW to finish it off his career, let alone Christian. But FTR have been good friends with Edge for many years, and I do believe when Edge made his return, there was a promo where he name dropped Cash and Dax's real names as part of his promo to basically thank them for helping train him back up and get him ring ready. FTR were part of his return, which I thought was a very nice, because you do get AEW name dropping WWE and stuff like that, but it's very rare that you'll get the other way around. But yeah, they skated around it by calling them the real names.
They'll get a slap on the hand otherwise. But yeah, I do remember that actually, because I can remember everybody being like, kind of not up in arms, but very like you said, it was a very nice, very cool gesture. But yeah, obviously, I mean, we're talking, Edge and Christian versus FTR. Edge versus Dax, 1-on-1 would be a potential 5-star match for me. Because Dax is, as a single wrestler, the guy always delivers.
Absolutely, yeah. He's a technician, old school guy. I like it a lot. But yeah. Did you? Edge was quoted the other day. I can't remember who he was speaking to, but he was basically talking about how he's not just limited to one company now, and how he could go to Japan and face Kazuchika Okada. Like, he said that, and I literally, when I first saw like the words, because it had been typed up and stuff, I just sat there with my slack jawed for like a minute, just thinking, oh shit, could you imagine like Edge in New Japan, like the viewership for New Japan when having somebody like that on their card? It would be incredible, and that match is something I need to see. You can't just say it and then not do it, fellas.
Exactly. Don't tease us, don't sprinkle it. It'll be very reminiscent of Jericho, like when Jericho fought Omega, obviously pre-AEW kind of thing. Yeah. Very big, established WWE name, having left the company, turning up in Japan. It was huge. I think Edge, given what New Japan can do with like characters and freedom, I think Edge could go over there and create this whole new character for himself, and it would just be barbaric kind of thing. I could kind of see him tapping into like the whole Viking, his love of the Viking sort of mythology and stuff, and actually just coming out and just destroying everyone.
My nose isn't big enough to do the flat nose thing, because he was actually in the Vikings TV show, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
So, obviously, quick sidebar. Edge is here. Do we get Beth Phoenix in some sort of coaching role or behind the scenes role? I think the women can only benefit from having someone like Phoenix backstage producing and helping out as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, never say never. I'm not sure what her contractual what's going on with her contract, whether she's still with WWE or not. And Copeland wasn't sure himself. Well, he must know. Obviously, he's married to her, but like he didn't say out loud or whatever. But the voice, You Think You Know Me, in AEW is Beth Phoenix's voice. So so she is kind of already there in essence.
Nice. But yeah, man, I just think obviously exciting times, because like I said, we just sat here talking about potential matches. It just throws like the whole division or the whole just promotion up in the air, because you've got this whole new entity, this whole new factor.
Yeah.
So if used correctly, maybe they can kind of recoup some of the losses from Punk. They've managed to pull in another big name for the other fans. They might be able to get one or two of the other fans over to watch the product now that he's here.
Yeah, I would consider Edge a bigger star than CM Punk, personally, because he's been in like major TV shows and stuff like that. If you want to call them major, Vikings definitely was major, but like I don't know. They're probably on similar levels, but like for me, and it always has been this, I'm not just saying this for like recency bias, I would always kind of consider Edge a bigger star than CM Punk. Like, I don't know, I just do. But yeah,
to be fair, not to rub the salt into Pepsi Phil, but Edge has main evented a few WrestleManias.
Yeah. Oh dear. But yeah, it's can only benefit the wrestling business to have like, and like I say, AEW will benefit massively from having taken such a negative entity away, to then replace him in essence with somebody that is just like a really genuinely nice person. I've been a big fan of Adam Copeland, the person, for quite a long time, because he just seems like a really lovely dude. Like on Instagram, it's just like family stuff, and he just seems proper sound. So to then replace negative with positive in, kind of similar elder statesman kind of role, if you want to call it that, is only a good thing. And he said in the media scrum after Wrestle Dream, I don't know whether you watched that or not, but it had some interesting bits. He was basically saying that he is happy to help anybody that wants to seek help, rather than it seemed like Punk was trying to force help upon people, and it was kind of rubbing people the wrong way. So yeah, it's all well and good wanting to be that fountain of knowledge for people, but if you say it or deliver it in a way that people don't like, then you're not going to get across, really, are you? So
it's not just that. I think the problem is giving the advice and then being man enough. It's kind of turning into the same Punk thing at the minute, but this will be the last bit. But yeah, I kind of think that Edge's approach will be very different. It'll be like, I will give you the advice. If you take it, awesome. If you don't, that's fine. That's the difference. If you don't take it, that's fine. Whereas I think other people would give the advice. If it wasn't taken, they got butthurt.
How dare you? How very dare you? Yeah, exactly. That's fair, man. Yeah, but yeah, good times ahead.
Definitely, man. But my thing is as well, though, is obviously Edge. Obviously, he was never one of the big guys in WWE size-wise. He's a good size. He's a big man, by a normal person's perspective.
Yeah.
But in WWE, he always looked like one of the smaller guys. You put him in an AEW ring.
Big guy.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that when he was making his entrance at Wrestle Dream, I was just like, holy shit! Like, I forget that he's like 6'5". It's a big guy. So yeah, he's a legitimate threat to like everybody. Did you see his little like when he was doing his promo on Dynamite? He looked at the camera and said MJ when he was like reeling off people that he'd like to wrestle. And he was just like MJF, and then he looked at the camera and goes, "That world title will look good on me," and then like just gives it the little eyebrows. I thought that was really really cool. So yeah, I mean he's in incredible shape. The guy's like 50 at the end of this month, so he's in absolutely amazing shape really. And as is Christian, you don't see it with the turtleneck on, but he posted a picture up not so long ago, and the guy's just absolutely shredded. So
that's it. Because I was watching it. I think obviously the turtleneck. If you know, and it's such a smart heel move. Because obviously I was like, my other half doesn't really watch it all that much, but she's always loved Edge and Christian. So as soon as Edge was on last night, I was like, look, check this out. Look who's on TV. She's like, awesome. And then obviously Christian came out and she was like, why is he wearing a turtleneck? And I was like, it's instant. You see somebody wearing a turtleneck and you automatically think, what a fucking pleb. And you automatically think, like the guy, like he doesn't need to wear it. Like you said, the dude's shredded. It's a very smart, subtle move of being a heel. And that's what Christian does. It's the smart little mechanics. Just by putting a turtleneck on, the guy gets heat. It's ridiculous.
While we're talking about Christian, did you see his little pop at Brian Alvarez from the media scrum? Oh, it was wonderful. Like Brian Alvarez is in the crowd. They're all asking questions. You know how it goes down. But then he asks a question like it's like when you saw Nick Wayne, when did you see Nick Wayne wrestle for the first time, and what did you think? And he's just deadpan, just like looking at him like, I have not seen Nick Wayne wrestle. And then basically just starts like having a pop at him for like, are you a wrestler? And then Alvarez is like, yes, I used to be. Well, you obviously weren't very good, otherwise that's why you're here asking questions. And then like takes the piss out of the star rating system thing. Oh, it was a thing of beauty. I really I enjoyed that.
Again, it's just both of these guys very, very smart. They've got a brain for how the business works. They've been around that long. They can't not have the brain for how the business works. And I'm not going to mention the other dude, but I think Edge could be what they wanted to be, or what's kind of been lacking, in the sense of, we said it before, it may be that they need kind of like an Undertaker figure, in the back room, in the locker room, somebody who can kind of just bang heads together if needs be, but kind of keep it professional. And yeah, I think Edge could easily do that. I think he's that kind of guy that would just be like, look, just chill out. Let's talk about it. Let's just be professional. And if anybody's got any issues, like, come see me and we'll sort it out.
Yeah, for sure. There's always going to be friction. You can't imagine how many people and egos there are backstage at a wrestling show. But yeah, it's just all about getting it sorted out, I guess, isn't it? And learning to learning to coexist. So yeah, it's kind of funny to me that all the backstage stuff at AEW seems to find its way out into the news, but then all the stuff at WWE, you hear very, very little of it. But stuff does happen. Apparently, the reason Matt Riddle was fired, just as a little little nugget while we're on it. Matt Riddle, go on.
What? Riddle's been fired?
Matt Riddle. So there was a bunch of WWE releases 2 weeks ago. Dolph Ziggler, Shelton Benjamin, Emma, Top Dollar, Mustafa Ali, countless others. Dolph Ziggler. I've already said Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
And also Riddle the day after, but that was because apparently he slapped Walter across the face, which to me is just suicide twice over. You fucking stupid idiot. He deserves to be fired before Gunther just slaps the tits off you.
Jesus. Yeah, I didn't know. I was just, again, proves my point. I don't obviously keep up to date with X, Y, and Z. But yeah, man, because Riddle, anybody who knows me, anybody who's heard me talk about WWE, obviously the reign of Roman coming to an end at some point. Riddle was always my outside bet. He was that mid-carder that could become a main eventer. That's probably one of the best guys that they had to fill that spot for me. So yeah, I didn't know he'd gone. That's mental. So
I think he'd become too much of a backstage issue because he was doing bits and pieces. But hey, this isn't what we were here to talk about. No. It's my fault. Apologies.
No, it's fine. It keeps me in the know. But yeah, well, it proves the point. That's what I mean. You don't want that kind of conflict, and if you've got somebody backstage who can offer a clear head. And just be a nice guy. And as you said before, that to me is very much, again, any Edge and Christian fans, if they've ever watched the E&C podcasting that used to be that was on the network, they're just very funny guys, very nice guys. They're the kind of guys that I would want to go out for a drink with.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems that way, doesn't it? And just on the experience and backroom, experience and leadership and stuff like that, it's obviously very Attitude Era WWE centric. But when you think about it, but it's Edge, Christian, both the Hardys are there, and Chris Jericho, and obviously Sting, but he's trod a different path. But then you've got so much experience there, like WrestleMania main eventers, world champions all over. Just a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. So yeah,
I wouldn't trust Jeff Hardy to quiet anything down. So he's not my favourite person, to be fair.
He wouldn't be the first person out of that list to go to, but I just thought I'd put him in there, just.
And again, but yeah, Edge and Christian fully agree with Sting, obviously, as of whenever he's in the building, awesome. And yeah, Jericho is obviously very much determined to make AEW successful, which is why he's criticised when criticism has been needed. In the early days about the refs and stuff, Jericho is very quick to be like, look, blah, blah, blah. So that shows that he will put the company first. I'd like to think, again, speculation, I don't know. The guy's got an ego. Obviously, he wants to keep his place safe, but I do think he wants AEW to be a success. So,
yeah. Absolutely. I don't think he'd have signed the contract if he didn't believe that the project could have been anything but a success. And yeah.
Definitely. So, but yeah, man, you get Edge and Christian in there. You get, obviously, Jericho. I loved, again, obviously bringing it back to Edge, the promo last night when he got into the ring. You can just tell he's a massive wrestling geek as well, which he's never hidden. He's always acknowledged the fact that they grew up as massive wrestling fans. But just his love, you could see it when he's talking to Shivani, and he's like, "Oh, dude, you're like the voice of my youth," kind of thing.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then like having to go at Christian for beating the shit out of Sting. It's like, Sting, for God's sake, man, what are you doing?
Yeah. He must have watched a lot of WCW because Jim Ross was the voice of my childhood. For sure. Like,
well, he did say that Christian was, was Sting and he was Luger. So I think they were WCW guys prior to the contract signing. So
valid point. Yeah. I'm kind of disappointed he's not debuted as Sexton Hardcastle, if I'm being honest. It's like the single greatest wrestling name never used.
Maybe you're saving that for New Japan.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, for sure.
That's it. You got the Sexton versus, all the top New Japan guys.
Yeah,
it'll come out some like weird ass gimpy mask on or something. Or it could be like instead of the Bullet Club, it would be the Sex Club.
The Gimpy Club.
The Gimpy Club.
Yeah. Anyway.
Moving on. But yeah, I just think obviously it's a massive deal, and I just hope it brings eyes onto the product, and it's obviously something that it's seen as positive, because I think AEW definitely needs as much positivity on the product as possible now. I think, unfortunately, they've been on the shit end of the stick for the last few months, for known reasons. That's not really their fault. I don't know. I can't say whose fault it is. I don't know. But now Edge is there, eyes on the prize. Watch the product, enjoy the product, talk about Copeland being there, talk about the Rated R Superstar and the potential matches, the potential feuds.
Yeah, for sure.
Just enjoy them, because it's fresh, it's new, and it's exciting.
Certainly is, yeah. I mean, like Edge himself said, there's like, just looking a quick glance at the AEW roster, there's like 14 names that jumped out immediately that he wanted to work with. So like, there you go. We've got 14 programs to work through during his stint. So they will all be dream matches for his opponents and him and the fans alike. So let's just enjoy the ride and stuff. So let's go.
The Rated R Superstar versus Malachi Black.
Oh, yes. I miss Malachi Black.
But obviously, again, Miro is another name that I thought they would have bashed, but I think time lapsing with injury and whatever. We've never had Edge versus Miro. And again, it's just two big men slapping meat, especially in AEW. They're both, by AEW standards, they're both big boys. That's a match I would quite happily pay to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And the beauty about AEW is that you can do whatever you want creatively. There's no micromanagement. Can't do this, don't do this, all that kind of stuff. And they're both clever enough to add little bits and nuances to the match that'll add to the story and add to the keeping everybody on the edge of the seat. And that's just years of experience and exciting times.
Definitely, man. And that's it. I mean, we're talking, the big names and stuff, but if you wanted to, it could work with the Sammys, it could work with the Garcias, it could work with those guys and get them on. He needs to go back just to being a pro wrestler, Danny Garcia. But man, I sort of just think, you said there's 14 names off the bat that just caught his interest. I just think the possibilities are just mouth-watering.
Very much so, yeah. There's lots to look forward to. Full Gear is a few short weeks away. When you can, usually it's like three months, isn't it, between pay-per-views?
It's been very. I think the last few months, AEW have. As an AEW fan, I'm very accustomed to getting a pay-per-view every 3 months. I think obviously since June we've had 3 already. And then we've got this, so it's going to be like 4 in the space of 5 months or something, which as an AEW fan I don't budget for, so I'm a bit like
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about AEW extending the pay-per-view schedule next year, and apparently it's going to be 12 pay-per-views. But I really, really don't want it to be 12 because that's just literally overkill. And one of the big things, I mean, granted, the wait time between the big shows felt like forever. I quite like only having a few a year. I can get behind 7 or 8. You know what I mean? Like, again, it's the budget thing, but like, I can't afford £20 every month for a pay-per-view. I just can't, unless they start doing something like the network where the show is included. With the fee and stuff like that, but we'll just have to see.
I like the build up. That's what's always got me with like AEW was the 2 months at a push. You know, I've 6 a year. With the Forbidden Door being a cheeky bonus, that's the 7th, whenever kind of thing. You know,
and all in Wembley if that's going to be a mainstay going forward as well.
Okay, so we'll call it 8, but 6 normal pay-per-views. But I liked the 2 to 3 months build between the shows. It felt like a long time, but it gave stories time to develop. Nothing was rushed. Obviously, a few stories dropped off, unfortunately, during that 3 months, which they are guilty of. But when the stories were done right and they hit home, it's because they had 3 months to build on them. You had 3 months worth of investment, and then you got the pay-per-view match. You'd invested 3 months into this story, and you got the payoff, which is why I always think the pay-per-views felt so good. That's my opinion.
They
every month.
They always deliver, regardless. I mean, 12 for me would be overkill, and I don't know whether I can afford one every month. But I've not missed one yet, so I probably will just suck it up and continue to support and stuff because I'm just like that.
I'll start buying smart price stuff. Just everybody else can feed your need for the AEW products. Get smart price beans, smart price lollies. Buy dog milk instead of cow milk. I don't know. Whatever.
I start on OnlyFans. Literally just to support my AEW need.
Right. Bringing it back to Edge again. Right. This is the closing segment, the closing conversation, the closing question. Right. Mm-hmm. So obviously, you're running AEW. You now have Edge. How do you use him? What sort of stories do you try and tell over the next 6 months? Who do you have him? Obviously, after Christian. Do you have him stay single as a singles competitor? Does he go after MJF? Does he? How do you book Copeland over the next 12 months?
A broad question. So obviously we've got the Christian feud straight out the gate to look forward to, and a little nugget that we might get is that Edge never knew his father. He was just never knew him. So that's going to be something that Christian's going to use to beat him with, like, you never knew your father. So that could be something to look forward to. But then after that, like, if they do have the TNT title match at Full Gear, I can only see Edge. I don't know. I'm not ready for Christian to drop the belt yet, to be honest with you. It's so good. This character and run is just so good. But then, it's Edge's big pay-per-view debut. So I've honestly no idea. But yeah, we got the nod to MJF going after the world title. But then MJF's got Jay White confirmed at Full Gear, which is the first match during his reign that I've wanted MJF to lose. I love Jay White. And then I don't know whether you noticed, but when Wardlow made his return last night, his wrist tape had MJF written on it. So that would make you believe that there's going to be something going down there, whether it's for the title or not, who knows. But then, just take your pick. Just book him like a like a top star, and if there's going to be losses, make them mean something, make them be the big baby face. I can't believe he's lost. Oh no, kind of losses rather than just a loss for the sake of losing. Make it mean something. Raise some people up. Got a lot of young people, young guys on that roster. Got a lot of like experienced guys, but still need that little bit of raising up from the upper mid card to the main event, like what Swerve's getting at the moment. I feel like we're watching Swerve just like evolve like a Pokemon at the moment, and he'll be world champion before we know it, and I'm all for it. And then, you know, Malachi Black, just Andrade, if he gets a mouthpiece, which it seems like he might be doing with CJ, Jay White, like I'm just, and then obviously there's the New Japan aspect to it as well. Like watching him at Wrestle Kingdom would just be unreal. Like I'm just excited for him, to be honest with you, because it's not just one company anymore. He can basically go wherever he likes. He could turn up at Rev Pro if he really wanted to. Like he could, literally could. I imagine he'd cost a fair bit, like, but he can kind of go after his. He can be a kid again, even though he's like nearly 50. He can be that kid, that wrestling obsessed kid again, going after all these dream matches and doing indie shows if he wants to. He doesn't need to, obviously, but yeah, lots and lots of possibilities, and lots of potential to be like the amazing final run of his career, because he was considering retiring before deciding to come to AEW. So yeah, let's just enjoy it for what it's worth while we can.
Definitely. But yeah, obviously, you know, you're talking New Japan. You know, it's not an outside bet to see Edge as Ring of Honor World Champion. You know,
Maybe.
You want to get eyes on the ROH brand. You know, it's something that's open to them now. Yeah, possibilities. Edge versus Will Ospreay in New Japan.
Oh, mate. I think Ospreay will be all elite come January, so it won't even need to be in Japan, in my opinion. But yeah, that is a match and a half.
Edge versus Takeshita. You know, that could be the final step in his main event journey. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Takeshita. Hell yeah. Yep. He's also a big guy, but stood next to Edge, you'll look not so big.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much, probably just a little bit eye to nose. But yeah, you know, you're on about, you know, use him to make the losses mean something. Takeshita beats him. That's it. Oh, and obviously feuding with like Omega and stuff at the minute, so he's already there. You know, he's at that level, but you need a couple of notches to make it continuous, to keep that continuity going. So yeah, he's got a few wins over Omega now in beating tag matches or whatever. But down the line, if he beats Edge, that's another big name notch. And yeah, like I said, man, I just hope they book him right. I just hope. This is a future episode at some point. We've talked about it, you know, off camera. The inability to continue momentum at times. You know, people lose momentum like that sometimes in AEW, and it's frustrating as hell. And you just gotta hope, you know, that's not the case with Edge. You know, he's got that momentum and he continues it for the next 2 years. I don't want to see a dip in the momentum at all.
Yeah.
If there's any dip, they're fucked up.
That could be. You know, with the pay-per-views being the extra pay-per-views coming, like obviously we've just discussed, we don't want 12 a year, but more pay-per-views with less time between means you could be more laser focused with your characters and your stories and your feuds and all that kind of stuff, rather than trying to like start a feud and then drag it out for 3 months until Double or Nothing, for example. There'll be a pay-per-view in like 5, 6, 7 weeks to have the big payoff, or at least the first part of the feud, and stuff like that. So, yeah, I can see that being a positive, but 12's overkill. But yeah, okay. The momentum thing, yeah, I can see. There's a few, there's a fair few examples of where it's been squandered. Wardlow is top of the list, really, isn't he? To be fair.
And Hobbs, I know he's back now,
Yeah.
but before yesterday's Dynamite, Hobbs for me was a massive. What are you doing? The guy who's riding high, and then they put it with QT, which was an automatic heat killer. And yeah, it's very like House of Black. Malachi is another one. It's like this guy should have been riding high since his debut, but he just feels like he's treading water. But yeah, that's a future episode. We do need to talk about this at some point, I feel. So obviously, anybody who knows us, we're positive Keats. We don't like to focus on the negative stuff within wrestling because there's so much good stuff to talk about. Why talk about the negative? But sometimes some things need addressing or just discussing. It doesn't have to be done in a negative way. We can just discuss stuff. So
Absolutely.
That's the plan. But this episode, very positive episode. We love Adam Copeland. We love Edge. We love the Radar Superstar. I would never tell him to go fuck himself. I think it's awesome. And I'm just proper excited, to see what he does.
Yeah, it's a very exciting time. But then on the flip side, it's like there's people Jay Cargill has gone from AEW to WWE. So equally, I am excited to see how they book her, because apparently they're seeing her signing as a big deal, which they should be doing because she's got a lot to offer, really, a lot to offer. So yeah, the wrestling business it's in a boom period, really, isn't it? And it's thriving. It's alive and well. There's a lot to talk about. Can we just talk about Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. from Wrestle Dream for a minute, because it was just fucking artistry, absolute artistry. Like,
is this where I need to get the Stan Marsh ectoplasm again?
Yeah, it was just like I've never, when you lean into something just so you can be closer to the action, I guess, just like hooked, like unable to blink. It was one of those for me, because like I'm gonna get to see Zack Sabre Jr. wrestle for the first time next weekend. I'm going to London for Royal Quest, New Japan Royal Quest, which I'm fucking so hyped about. But I've been a huge fan of Zack Sabre Jr. for a few years, so like that match was just insanely good. It was just articulate, it was great. I loved it.
Like, you know what my thought was though after that? So obviously Danielson sort of said that it's his last year. He's going to make this like a year to remember. But part of me was just like, can you not just fight Zack Sabre like every month for the next year, and or just keep that feud alive? You don't even have to fight every show kind of thing. Fight other people, but have Zack Sabre Jr. constantly in the background, gibbering, talking trash, running
Dragon Ball.
Yeah. But make Danielson's last match against Zack and have him pass the torch, because I think Danielson's old school. There's that old school rule of you lose your last match, you pass the torch on your last match. Austin did it to The Rock in his last ever match. There's other examples. For me, I'd just love to see those two guys back and forth for the next 12 months with Danielson. Just staring at the lights in the last match.
I would like more episodes of that story for sure. But Zack Sabre Jr. did have a go at Danielson for saying that you're like the best technical wrestler in the world, but you didn't beat me with a technical move. You beat me with 2 knee strikes to the face. So I still think there might be more to come, which is definitely something to look forward to.
And in them seeds, dude.
Wrestle Kingdom next year. Danielson said for years that he wants to be in the G1 Climax, but with his age now and his injury record and his family and all that kind of stuff, I just don't think he's going to go to Japan for like a month and wrestle every 3 days. I think it'd do him in, but he could still go to Wrestle Kingdom or Dominion. Wrestle Kingdom more so because that's the big one for them.
What, one match?
Yeah.
Not one match.
Yeah. Hell
yeah,
yeah.
man. If he put Sabre over in his, in his house, that would be huge, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, if they do that at some point, and then they have the rubber match, in AEW, that's fine. One each, and
Forbidden
then
Door next year.
Yeah, that's the final end of the road. Winner takes all. Career match. Bosh, sorted.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, dude,
just wanted to splooge one more time over that match because you know a wrestling match is good when you literally just find yourself thinking about it. Like, wow. Like when you just sat there watching the TV or whatever, and then you'll just get like a scene from it pop into your mind, which doesn't happen all the time.
He just turned off, right?
Truly. Oh, he's zoned out again. What's he thinking of? It's like that meme, isn't it? Like the man and the woman back to back, and she's just like, I hope he's not thinking about other women, and he's just like, I'm just like thinking about Zack Sabre Jr. Yeah.
That's it. I'm gonna have to make that meme at some point. That's awesome. Yes. I'll have to get a meme video, but yes, dude, it has been a pleasure as always. Yeah, we'll start making this more of a regular thing because obviously inundated with interviews and stuff at the minute, so I'm not getting a chance to talk to you guys as much as we used to. So we'll try and do this every couple of weeks minimum if possible, because there's plenty to talk about, man. You and me, we can sit down, we can chat, about wrestling, about X, Y, and Z for. I try and keep it, under an hour, but I know we could go for fucking 3 or 4 hours if needs be. So
easily.
We will sort out the next episode, the next topic. We'll sit down with Nick and Ash, and we'll have a conversation. And anyway, I call him Mr. AEW. He's also Mr. Instagram. In charge of the work. I do want to call you Mr. Insta because it kind of sounds a bit like a premature issue. But yes, obviously, if you follow us on Instagram, this is the dude. So yeah, where can people hit you up and view the amazing stories that you put up?
Right, so my personal is at @Tanko_Grimoire, which I'll tag in this video. So for whatever reason, if you're interested in like death metal and stuff, then hello. And as Nick said, I also run the Work the Left Side Instagram page, which is at WTLS316. And yeah, lots of good stuff. Always talk to me, interact. Always happy to talk and see stuff, show me stuff that I might not have seen, or point stuff out that I might not have known. Put us on to future interviews and stuff. Winky face. Something like that might have happened recently, so we can hope we'll find out soon enough.
Emails have been sent, so we will see.
Excellent.
But yeah, obviously, man, the Insta account's huge, dude. It's awesome. I mean, it's popping up all over the shop. It's getting retweeted by obviously Leon Slater. It's getting retweeted by Wardlow. It's getting retweeted by Dax Harwood, Matt Cardona. And a story recently, mate. You know what I mean? If I was wearing a hat, I genuinely would. I'm going to tip my hood to you. Obviously, though, you can come follow us on Twitter or X at WTLS420, and that's mainly just used to hype up British wrestling shows, British wrestlers, British wrestling promotions. Same as the TikTok WTLS420, videos of upcoming shows or shows that I've been to, and obviously, helps to same as the Instagram. You'll get links to episodes as we upload them. So thank you for watching this. Hit like, hit subscribe, share, comment. Get us out there. Get us on people's radar. Help us. We enjoy doing this. But I've started to realise not so much for us, but I want eyes on the prize for the guests. I've been talking to a lot of the younger guys, and I want people to see what they can do. I want people to hear what they've got to say, but I need people to watch the videos for these guys to be heard. So yes, help us grow, share, like, and hit the notification button because we've got some awesome stuff coming up. And yes, thank you very much, and we will see you again very, very soon.